Welcome parents. I am recording the presentation for Open House. At any time during this video, please press pause if you would like to read more in depth on the screen, fast forward, or rewind as needed. Before I get started, my name is Mrs. Agresti. I'm going to show you the very last page of the slide that you'll find at the very end of the video. That page is for any questions you have. You can post to the website using a cue card reader or just going straight to the website. Here's the cue card, here's the website, this is what it looks like. So I said please post your questions here. What I find that is, just like with students, adults, you may have a question that somebody else has. So if you can post it to that little forum, I will respond to all the questions and then post the questions for everyone to see. That way we're not duplicating something that has already been said, or you can go back to refer to it if you need to. This will be the same slideshow shown Thursday night at Open House. However, I wanted something to send in case people couldn't attend or they need to go back to view it later in the year. My goals are to create a classroom community where we become independent readers, thinkers, and workers. I also try to personalize learning for each student where it's needed, reinforce their development of work habits, self-discipline, and organization. So a big thing in first grade for me is independence. Creating an environment where instead of just repeating the directions daily for specific students, helping them find ways to find what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it. If you don't have a pencil, where can you get it? Some students are more fluent with this. Other ones take a little bit longer. So I really do reinforce that community. This is your class. This is your group. This is your table. We're all here to help each other. A little bit about me. I'll just paraphrase some of the slides. Again, you can pause at any time. I started at Tallwood after getting my master's in education. I've been at Tallwood for now 5 years, unofficially 6 to 7 years. I love Tallwood, and I picked that over the other schools that I could have been at because of the community and teachers that are here to help support me. This is my second year in first grade. I had been in kindergarten for 4 years, so I love knowing what my first graders had been taught last year. It's nice to know the building blocks from kindergarten so I can help support those first graders. Some of these students already remembered me from last year, from going to kindergarten here, and they're getting used to my new last name, and so am I. So I told my students this year, last year I got married, and they've probably already told you about my 2 babies. I'd be surprised if they haven't, but you'll hear about them more frequently this year. Our rules that we establish together, things that are important for us to learn and to be safe. So if we're not listening, following directions, keeping our hands and feet to ourselves, using inside voices, being kind to adults and peers, then it's going to be very challenging to have learning take place in our class. So I try to reinforce it's not just my rules, we need this in place to be able to learn all together. Class Dojo was created for behavior management, and I will start using that more frequently. If you have any questions, please email me. I don't check Class Dojo messages like I check email. Email is my primary source of communication. They can earn points and they can lose points. So I'd say if they did not lose any points, they're doing okay. If they're getting points, they're doing awesome. If they're losing points, it will tell you why. Please ask your student before you email or call me, because most likely, trust me, they know why they lost points. They can earn the points, use the points for free time on Fridays, or to pick from the treasure box. I'm always looking for little things that kids will like, whether it's a book that your student doesn't read anymore, a Happy Meal toy, anything like that throughout the year would be greatly appreciated to use for our treasure box. as a whole class, we can earn gems in a jar for special days and parties. They earn gems in the jar for getting a green cup during the cafeteria, compliments in the hallway, or just being awesome and following directions all together. Now we're getting into reading. These are the reading strategies that Virginia Beach uses to help their first graders. So when someone gets stuck on a word, these are things that we cue them. I'm not exactly going to tell them the word. As they're learning how to read independently, I'm going to say one of these. If you are looking in our classroom, you will see that they're above my reading table. So we refer to them a lot. Get your mouth ready. You look for the chunks, like at in the word k, at. And that chunk can be in a bigger word that can sometimes help them. To monitor their reading, these are other cueing strategies that we use. Does it look right? Does it make sense? Does it sound right? And if it doesn't, then we just go back, reread, and fix it. These are elements that we look for when we're reading. These are things that you can practice at home. It's also found on my website under What We Are Learning. With every fiction story, they should be able to tell you the characters, the setting, the problem, how it was solved, and if there was a theme. On the right, the visualization and predicting, those are all things that we practice or will be practicing as we read. So your students should be able to tell you after you read them a book or they read a book to you, try to probe for any of these. Who are the characters? Those are the people or animals in the story. See if they can tell you without you asking them or giving them hints. Okay, if you come into the classroom, I will have samples. This is very important. The DRA is the reading assessment that we do in first grade. Students are expected to be a 16, level 18 by the end of first grade. That is so they can be successful readers and learners in second grade. So if you're able to come in, I will have different examples so you can see the progression. I know for people who aren't as familiar with reading levels, that really doesn't mean anything to you, but it will when you see the text copies. There's a big difference from the beginning of the year, first grade, and where they need to be at the end of the year. Writing. Students are expected to write several sentences, paying attention to capitalization and punctuation at the end. And we encourage and expect more sentences with each quarter. So by the end of fourth quarter, our students should be writing as if they're in the beginning of second grade. Here are some of the topics that we cover in math. A lot of these you'll know when you start using the Precious Status app. I'll send messages when we introduce new topics in math or what your student needs help in math. If we're still counting and they're stopping at 50, I will send you a personalized message through Precious Status to let you know. If we're beginning coins, I'll send out a message. We're starting counting coins up to a quarter or different combinations. So I find that that app is really user-friendly to be able to send updates as to what we're learning, especially in something like math. If you're new to our school, this is something I'd like to cover because it's important. We do have PE every day. That means students need to be wearing some sort of tennis shoes. Girls need to be wearing shorts or something underneath their dresses or skirts. Since we're on the topic of clothing, please, try to keep them from wearing jewelry, bracelets, necklaces, anything that they can pull on and become a distraction. Try to, if they're going to be distracted by it, please let them keep those at home. When it becomes a distraction at school, they're playing with whatever they're wearing. If it's a bracelet or necklace, something that can be taken off, I will tell them after the first warning that needs to go in your desk or in your backpack. If you have changes for transportation, we are only accepting handwritten notes. That's what their folders are for. If you're changing their transportation in the middle of the day, please call the office. I cannot take that change over the phone. We do have gifted as a special. A gifted resource teacher comes in our room and helps to teach the lessons. Her email is at the bottom of the screen. If you have any questions during the year about gifted or the gifted screening process, she is the person to ask and go to. More information about the gifted screening process will be going home later. Progress reports will be emailed. Report cards will be sent home 4 times a year. The report card goes home in an envelope that must be signed and returned. I will be scheduling conferences as needed starting in October. So when I have more information about your student, more academics, more testing done, then I can be able to conference with you. At this time, I am not ready to. I would like to have a better idea of your student before I meet with you. And I say as needed because there are at least 20 students, possibly more, coming into our class. So as busy as I am, I like to say if you don't hear from me, you're okay. I try to meet with parents. I email, message through Precious Status. You will know if I am concerned about something emotionally or academically with your student. So, with that being said, I know a lot of you will be concerned. Please look for those messages. Please make sure you're tracking and staying up to date with your student so that you know if it's something as simple as just counting, you already know. If I feel like I'm concerned or there's something going on, I will call you in or send you an email to get you in to see me so we can work together with your student. We do serve breakfast for students that need it. Some tell me they didn't have breakfast when they already have, so I try to contact parents, but please be proactive about this. If you know your student eats a full breakfast at home and you do not want to pay for their breakfast at school, please send me a note. You will be charged and you will be getting receipts that go home to say how much is on their account. Any questions about breakfast and lunch can be directed at the lunch manager. You can call, you can go online. I don't know how much is on your student's account. I don't know how often they buy lunch. That lady, Julia Williams, the cafeteria manager, will be able to assist you with any of those types of questions. Headphones or earbuds are very essential to our classroom. I know some students are still missing some students only have one pair. It is necessary. I can't have all 20 students on a laptop with everyone's individual sound going off. It's very distracting. Some students are better than others about not picking and playing at them when they're in their ears, destroying them. So this year we asked for 4 sets. So if your student does not have 4 sets and they are, their earbuds are breaking down or being damaged from whatever, you will hear from me because they need it. If you're able to donate extra sets of earbuds, that would be greatly appreciated. It does happen, they do break. Some students last year were better about placing them where they go, not picking at them than others. So if you could make sure that your student has them and they're working, that would be fantastic. They really do need to hear the skills that they're doing on the computer. Visitors are allowed during lunch. Please sign in at the front desk with your ID. Our lunchtime is on the screen unless it's adjusted dismissal day. Please do not share with other students in case of food allergies. Your student can pick a friend to sit with them while you are there, and make sure to sign out on your way out. If you're looking for things to do, check the website under What Are We Learning? Make sure to always read with your student nightly. That is the homework. Reading each day. Reading is a big part of first grade. Using those comprehension questions to support them checking purchase status when it's up and running to see what skills we're working on. That's how you can reinforce activities with your student at home. Here's the grading scale. You are welcome to go online to sign up for Parent Portal so you get notifications for grading when your student has grades in the grade book. The grading scale is as follows: N, DP, P, and AP. AP is above and beyond, and sometimes that is just not something we can grade on certain assignments. Sometimes it's applicable. So if they don't have all APs, they are fine. They're good. If they have Ps, that is exactly where they need to be. DP is almost there. If they're counted to 120 and they got to 100, that's a DP for this quarter. They are almost there, but they didn't quite get there to 120. A novice would be someone who maybe got halfway or a little bit less, or they really had to sit there and think about what number came next. It is not proficient for them. They're really counting and using number patterns in their brain. It's not automatic. They would be a novice. And I did want to mention, so if we're counting to 120 and they made it to 130 or 120 this quarter, they made that expectation, they're probably going to earn an AP or a P. If they're not meeting that expectation next quarter, and we've been counting and counting and counting every day, and they get to 120, that would just be a P because we've been doing it and working on it. If they've already successfully completed that, that would be their chance to earn an AP. So as the quarters go on, the skills that we practice will be graded a little bit more difficult each time. Behavior for this quarter. So they're not sitting in their seat, they're not following directions. I'm going to be a little more tougher on that next quarter since they will have been in school for 2 quarters by that point. I hope that makes sense to you, so don't be alarmed if they had a DP then they go to an N. Well, because the class is adjusting, they're following directions, they're in the routine, but maybe your student is not quite at that point. Just be mindful of that. It goes the same as reading. Reading objectives and skills progress through the quarters. So right now it's acceptable to be a level 4 to 6. Next quarter it might be 8 to 10. So if they're not meeting that expectation, they will not be getting a P in reading. As I said before, send notes through their folder if it's about transportation. Emails I check after school. I will not be responding through emails throughout the day. The very little breaks I have will be used to prepare for the next lesson, take a lunch break, use a bathroom break, and planning purposes. So if you send me an email, please give me time to respond. Please know I am not writing back emails during the day. I'm working with students. That is my job. When it's after school, I will respond. If perhaps I'm sick or out for the day, know that I'm not going to be responding to that email to the next following day. And this is the last page. So if you're able to come into open house, we will be going over the same things. I wanted to give people the opportunity to hear about it and get their questions ready. You are able to come this day. You are free to roam, see the library, purchase PTA Tallwood t-shirts that your students can wear, find out information about the PTA, visit other teachers such as the music, art, and the PE teachers. The QR code should direct you to this page right here where you can post your questions. I really look forward to having a fantastic year. I am super excited to have you working with me to support your student academically this year. And I really hope you know how important that is, that we're a team, we're working together, we have the same goal. I have the same goal for you as your student, getting them to where they need to be for 2nd grade, making them an awesome classroom partner for our whole group. And if there's anything during the year, please contact me. Let me know. I want to make sure I am supporting them, whether it's something that happened at home or at school. If I don't know about it, if your student doesn't tell me or you don't tell me, I can't help. So we have to keep the communication open. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and prepare and look over the PowerPoint. And like I said, please post any questions to today's meet. Thank you, and let's have an awesome possum year.